Hi guys, what's up? It's me Vivs here from SlideNerd. Today I'm going to talk about how we can make custom tabs using the sliding tab layout. Now ideally you should use a library which we will take a look at in the next video for making tabs using material design. But still, for some of you curious creatures out there who are just like me, I would like to show you what we can do with the sliding tab layout as well. So let's get started. So the left side is a pre-lollipop device and the right side has the lollipop device out here. This is how our tabs currently look. We want icons in our tabs at different positions, different icons. So going back, the first thing that we need to do for that is make our custom layout file, which in my case is called customtabview.xml. I have shown you how to create a layout enough times if you're watching this video by now. Hence, I'm going to skip the creation part. There's a linear layout with a vertical orientation. There are two children. There's an image view and a text view. Notice that the image view is match parent and width, wrap content and height. The text view is again match parent and wrap content. Now you guys are like, wait, why do you need a text view? Well, all we need to do is display icons, and the material design guidelines say that you either have all text or you have all icons. Why do you need both? That's because the sliding tab layout itself is made in such a way that it requires a text view and an image view with it. So that's why we have to construct it this way. So other than this, there's nothing great in this layout. If you go to the design tab, you're not going to see anything because I have not supplied an image for the image view or a text for the text view. So let's take a look at how we can modify this in our code and add the icons. My project currently looks like this. There's a string array inside the strings.xml with the tabs 1, 2 and 3. If you go here on the left side, I have my drawable folders HDPI, MDPI, and they all have three icons for the three different tabs. You go to the main activity. The place where we decide on which tab to place what icon is our my pager adapter. So here I have made an array of integers, which is basically an array of the three icons that I want to display. And then there's the tab text, which is initialized from our strings.xml containing the string array that we made there. And if you go down, the get page title method is the place where you display the content of the tab. In our case, I've simply returned the tab text of position. In other words, the current item from that array of tab text or the tab text available out there. So how do we modify this to display icons? The way we do that is with something called a spannable in Android. Spannable simply means displaying normal text along with styled text or say images or icons. It's a whole topic to discuss, which I'll be definitely doing in my separate video when I'll talk about spannables in detail after the material design series is over. So for now, let's take a look at how we can use a spannable to display icon as well. In the first step, we are going to construct a drawable object from the icon at the current position. In other words, it will look something like this. Take a look at how we have used the getResources.getDrawable and pass the icons of position to pass the current icon and construct a drawable object from that icon. Now in the next step, we need to create an object called the image span. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Here, if you take a look at the edit text here, along with the normal text that the guy has written here, there's also an image in between and then there's text here. Now this image is actually considered to be a part of the content of this edit text, and this is possible because of a class called image_span. Now there's a lot of things that need to be talked about when it comes to spans. There are several classes, subclasses and different ways of doing this, and that is a whole new discussion which I'll be having after a material design series is over. But for now, let's go back and construct our image_span object from this drawable object. Now the reason why we are doing this is because we can only return a char sequence from our getPageTitle method. So the way we do that is to embed our image inside our text. So let's see how we can do this. So there in the image spans constructor, I have passed my drawable object and constructed an image span out of it, which means it can be placed with other content out there. Now the next thing that we need to do is to construct a spannable string because we are trying to mix text and images, and that is possible when we use the spannable string class. Let's take a look at what this basically does. If you come here to the documentation of spannable string, it says this is the class for text whose content is immutable. In other words, you cannot change the text or the content of it. But to which you can attach and detach markup objects. In our case, our plan is to attach the image span with this spannable string and thereby construct our tab content, which is basically text but at the same time contains an image. So let's take a look at how we can do that. So here's my constructed spannable string object. I have passed an empty double quote here to indicate that I don't want to assign any text to our tab because we only want to display the icon. So now let's take a look at how we can add or merge the text and the image together. And that is done by saying spannable string dot set span. So what is the object that you want to merge? It is our image span. Where do you want to start it? In our case, it has position 0. Where do you want to end it? In our case, it is spannable string dot length. And how do you want to merge it? Now, this is a tricky topic. There are 4 different flags out here, which I definitely need to discuss in detail. The flag that we are going to use here is called spannable dot exclusive exclusive. It simply means that text at the beginning or the end of the span won't be a part of it, but text inserted in the middle will be a part of it. Let's understand what I just said. Take a look at this example here. Consider that this text is say an H1 and this is say an H3 and this is a normal text, and we have achieved this with the help of a spannable that we are using. Now, let's say that ABCDE is attached with a span exclusive exclusive. It means if you add a character in between, it will look like an H1. But if you add a character at the end or at the beginning, that won't be a part of this span. So that's what a span mode is basically. So we will take a look at the span modes in detail again in that video when I start talking about spannables in detail. But for now, let's proceed and keep the span mode as exclusive exclusive because we want to make sure that nothing else is a part of the content here. So at this point, instead of returning the tab text, which we normally did, we are going to return the spannable string here. And that is the magic. Take a look at this. Spannable string can be returned from a method whose return type is char sequence, because spannable string implements char sequence. So in this way, we were able to construct or attach an image to our spannable string, thereby giving us a combination of text and image, and at the same time return that from here. And if you're wondering why we made a blank string here and why not just return the image span directly, take a look here going back to the class image span. This extends the dynamic drawable span. If you go there to dynamic drawable span, it extends to replacement span. There's a lot of spans out here. And if you go further, character style, object, you go to update layout, you will find out that char sequence is not being implemented anywhere. In other words, image span is not a subclass of char sequence, which means you cannot directly return it from this method. Now that we have done this, let's go up and modify our code. All the thing that we need to do here is to go to our onCreate and tweak this tab that we have just constructed. Now whatever changes you want to do, make sure you do that before you call set view pager. In our case, simply go here mtabs.set custom tab view. And as I told you, it is asking for 2 IDs. One is the layout, which in our case is r.layout.custom tab view. The other is the ID of the text view inside this layout. So if you go here back and if you take a look at our text view, it has an ID tab text, and this is the ID that we are supposed to provide here. So r.id.tab text. Now at this point, things should work. Let's take a look at what happens when we run things. So at this point, if you run the app, this is what you notice. There's a big line over here in the lollipop device and the pre-lollipop device as well. If you swipe here, you will notice that the tab is actually taking up all the available width. So the first way that we can fix this is simply go here and we're going to say mtabs.set distribute evenly true. Now this means all the 3 tabs will take up equal space on the screen. Now let's take a look at the result of this operation. So at this point, if you're back to our play lollipop and lollipop, you see that the tab is working, but where are the icons? You cannot see them. And that is because the span doesn't work with null or empty text. What you gotta do is make sure that you at least have a space over here to make this thing work. Now let's take a look at the code. Now if you run the app, you will see that there are no tabs seen at all. And you'll be like, oh, what happened? The reason is we need to specify how much space the icons are going to take up. That is not calculated for us automatically here. So we can go here, simply say drawable.setBounds, and we need to specify the amount of pixels each of them is going to take. So x, y, 0, left, top, 0, 0 and 36, 36 for the width and height that we have here. So now at this point, if we run the app, we should be able to see the icons. Let's take a look at that. And bang, there's our tab with icons, all three of them. And that's our lollipop and our play lollipop. Now the tabs definitely don't look that good because they are not taking up any space. So let's give them some padding here back in our layout file. So at this point, if you run our app, what you see is better tabs. And the way I did that is to go to our layout file and add a padding of 8 dp over there. Our tabs do have a shortcoming, and that is in terms of this indicator color that we have here. You're supposed to customize it and add accent color if possible. Also, the background needs to be changed to match the color of the toolbar. Let's take a look at how we can do that. We can go here at the top inside our main activity where we go right before our set view pager method is called, and we can say mtabs.set custom tab colorizer. Now this is going to give us the choice or chance to actually give the right color for a given position of the indicator. So we can simply say new tab colorizer here, and as you can see it says get indicator color. Here I can simply say get resources dot get color r dot color dot color accent over here. Now let's take a look at how this runs. So there's our tab right now with a tab indicator, and as you can see it's orange in color just like our color accent, but still the tabs don't have a background color. Not only that, if you click one of the tabs, we don't see the ripple effect anymore in lollipop, but the tabs do have a ripple effect if you remember the material design specifications. Now in our case, if you open the drawer right now, the drawer looks very ugly because I have modified our ripple effect which I discussed in my previous video to suit something else. So if you take a look at our ripple file for pre-lollipop, I have simply made sure that state pressed equals is true. When the tab is pressed, the background is basically color highlight. Otherwise, it is color primary at all times. For the ripple effect file for the lollipop devices, I have again made a similar change. We already had this mask back then when we defined it, but now I have added a state press is true with a color highlight and a normal state with color primary. Now all we got to do is go back to our custom tab view and apply this background here by saying background is @drawable custom bg. Will that work? Let's take a look at that. Once we apply the background here, as you go to our lollipop and pre-lollipop device on the left and right, you will notice that we have our tabs here. Now if you click here, the ripple effect is seen on the tabs, but where is the indicator? Even though I have defined it inside the main activity for the custom tab colorizer, the indicator is not working. The issue that we are facing is something like this. If we have the ripple effect, there is no indicator. If we have the indicator, there is no background or ripple effect. What do you think about this? How do you think that we can fix this? So in this video, I have stopped over here. I've shown you the custom tab and stuff like that. In the next video, I'm going to show you how to use a pre-made library for making tabs instead of coding all this hassle on your own with a sliding tab layout. In the meantime, if you like what you saw, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to Slide Nerd, and let us know your thoughts in the comment boxes below. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a nice day.